ti lọ èyí tí wọ́n rò yíyẹ olówó máa ń lo kúkú sẹ́ sáńtì máa ń gbé ọmọ Ìgbòho ṣàṣẹ́bẹ̀ lọ wà ọ̀gá máa dúpẹ́ olóògùn ayọ̀bá òkú tó o bá ti ka ìkórè bọ́dọ̀ òjò tó pé pọ́ kí lọ fẹ́ wá láàrin àwọn ọmọ adarí mú gan tàbí tó o bá ti ka bí kí ọmọ láàrin ìgbẹ́ kí lọ máa dá òfin yòó ọjọ́ máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ alágbẹ̀dẹ àyàmá ọba tó fi ọ́dẹ́rà tó kù ọmọ Adéyẹmọ o ìwọ náà kọ́ Olódùmarè ọba ní kí ọlá lùkẹ́ ṣe ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wọn ní wọn o láti o
ṣépè
Thank you. You don't need to lose focus. Still one thing, which is very important, and reason we must remain who we are. This Tinubu government will make it so easy to let a revolution happen in Nigeria. You'll be surprised. Because, yes, I'm serious. Because it's as if it's a blessing in disguise for a revolutionary Nigeria. He will be moving from mistake to mistake to the point that the people will have no option than to join hands and push all of them out. You can go and quote me anywhere. There's all these ones that people are looking around now. They think people are stupid. People are not stupid. People are just watching. One day you put them to the wall and they will push back. Because there is suffering in this country right now. It's not. I think there was even an APC boy, influencer that I was saying today, that even himself with all their 2,000 naira data boys, they are suffering. They are not even getting their 2,000 naira. Because the amount of money they used to pay them to insult people on Twitter is no longer enough to do transportation, to go back to where they stay. Even them, they can't buy fuel. They can't afford the kind of life that's been imposed by the Tinubu regime in Nigeria. And the regime is having fun. The number of trucks of fuel smuggled is nothing. The problem with this subsidy is that people that are known by the government are the ones stealing subsidy money. I watched an interview by a former governor of Bauchi State, Isha Yuguda. I call him Isha Jaguda. He said it, that there is one person who was involved in subsidy scam. That the man claimed, this I'm quoting him verbatim, and called the president and said, Mr. President, I'm tired of stealing. Remove subsidy. If I'm the president of Nigeria, you tell me you are tired of stealing, you will take me to where you are stealing. You cannot leave. You are going to sleep in the police station that night. And the police must take you, everybody will take you to one show where you are how much you are stealing. How can somebody come to the president's office and tell the president that he's tired of stealing? And you let him go? Exactly. So they are all lying that subsidy is not good for the Nigerian economy. What we have realized, based on one thing I posted on Twitter, I think there was a guy that analyzed it. If you go to my Twitter page, it's still there. Each time they remove subsidy, the Nigerian economy enters into a recession. Do you know why? 80% of the Nigerian economic system is run by you and me, the informal sector. The moment there's a dislocation that destroys our ability to run our small businesses, millions of people lose jobs. Now, if you enter Uber or Bolt, they will tell you that they cannot fill their accounts anymore. But that's not the issue. There's something new about those who are importing fuel. They are importing substandard fuel into the country that is burnt faster than the normal fuel. That is what they want to do. And I'm sure, apart from the fact that it evaporates faster, it's also destroying your engine. So you're automatically going to enter into recession. And as that guy rightly put it, the reason why they took away subsidy is that subsidy is the only thing that Nigerians enjoy that they themselves, they are following it up. You can tell how much is subsidy, but you cannot tell how much will be applied elsewhere. Since they remove subsidy, which roads have they constructed? They didn't even.
A very good morning and welcome. Emma Binu, that we are coming a little bit late. If you are aware that we had a program at the early hours of this morning, and that literally means that I am a little bit still awake. Moki Bogwale can say, as I say, good morning. This is Koiki Media, the education platform. This is where we tell you exactly, what you should be expecting, when it comes to Nigeria. As many of you might not understand, Nigeria is now going into depression. Nigeria is already on the CPR, but it's just a matter of when it's going to activate. Moki Showoreda, you've been hearing what Showore has been saying. It's part of what we have been discussing, for those that have been following the Yoruba Nation movement. Let me put this again for the benefit of doubt of those that have been asking, whether, a Yoruba Nation movement, will stop now that we have Bola Tinubu as the president. I have stated it clearly, and I will continue to state it again. But a movement like ours, it is just too late. It is not going to work, because this movement is not based on Bola Tinubu. Reason why we won't stop Yoruba Nation movement is because, whether you like it or not, the Nigeria of today is already in depression. I'll come back again to this video, and I have one more video to play later on as well.
The salary of NYC and some other. So you would expect that because they remove subsidy, everywhere there should be light, everywhere the roads should be shining, there will be employment. Nothing has changed in Nigeria since they removed subsidy. The only thing that removal of subsidy has brought is hardship and suffering for our people.
And that hardship and suffering is got to do with this Naira note. This is the Nigerian Naira note. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Moki Bugwale and Konsi. A shout out to my beautiful mom and to my family as well. This is a 500 Naira and this is a 1,000 Naira. Whether you like it or not, I don't know whether some of you know a country called Venezuela. So let me quickly take us away from Showore and bring us into, Venezuela. Hopefully, I might have that video ready in time for us. So if we talk about Venezuela, we will be able to see a little bit from Venezuela. Let's see what I would do. I think I might have it somewhere. Mokiwale can say good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Koiki Media live transmission. Nigeria is in CPR, and it is time that, as many of you are aware or not aware, Nigeria will collapse at some point. Okay, what we'll do, I can deal with that later. Let's watch this as well while I get the one for the Venezuela.
For 2023, the government plans to issue bonds.
Right, let me explain this next video. The next video was put together by someone called Live Ed EN. In case they ever feel check it, Furai is on YouTube. The video was released last month, so it's literally a month old. So it's not a video of last year. Everybody will give a projection about a country, as we are also giving the projection about the Yoruba Nation and those that are agitating for their own, self-independent nation as well. And we all have a right. That right will be respected by the federal government of Nigeria. That right will be respected by anyone, regardless of your take, whether they are the European Union. It does not matter. But it's just about exactly when Lufe Shele is what people are asking. But something would make Nigeria to collapse, because as many Nigerians today do not have access to these, the Naira note. So the Naira note will make you to force yourself out. That is exactly what Showore is trying to explain in that video. In Kokoloma pushing something will lead to something, and eventually everybody, will be falling out. I think I've got the one of the Venezuela, so I think we should play that one before this particular video. So this video that I'm going to play now is explaining 12 countries Ilumejila to likely will collapse, or the way he put it, 12 countries that could. It might not, and it might, subject to how the countries are going to stabilize. Nigeria is included in that country, just as Ghana, just as Ethiopia, and so many other countries as well. I've been able to find the one I was looking for earlier, which is the Venezuela. If you do not know, Venezuela also has a lot of crude oil. But as it is today, their country, a population of 28.2 million, which is literally close to the range of Lagos State, Tabanica, Venezuela as a country. They have huge amount of crude oil, but those crude oil have not been able to help, the citizen, just as Nigeria have not been able to help you as well, with the crude oil. The only revenue that comes into Nigeria, we've told you that, so many times for those of you that have been following the platform when we talk about the OECD. When you look at the data from 2021, these data automatically told us that all this red area is your crude oil, and that is 72.5%. By the time you go back into the value of that, the value of that gives you 41.8 billion. So this is how the government makes money. This is the only revenue that the federal government rely on, and that is why they have to remove the subsidy. But something will make Nigeria collapse, just as Venezuela, because Venezuela also have almost
oil-rich countries such as the
Venezuela also have the same amount, if not more, of crude oil. Be Nigeria not need crude oil, but they've not been able. Okay, why somebody said there's no sound? Which of the program we can't hear you from YouTube? Who is that? Say everybody at any time. Say your colony problem. Come out fit come out fit one dawa duro. Say gbogbo yan lo gbo wa because le ma ṣe program. Katabatiri message. My eyes just picked up. We can't hear you on YouTube. Say your colony ko gbo wa tó bá jẹ́ pé yan kan ni kó jáde kẹ́ ban sọ fún padà. So come out fit disturb wa mo ní time now right. Now, teba wo Venezuela has huge amount of crude oil. Tó bá pọ̀ ju ti Nigeria gan lọ, but unfortunately Venezuela has already collapsed. Venezuela is a collapsed country. So you want to Nigeria collapse. That is one of the reasons why we cannot stop Yoruba Nation, because whether you like it or not, whether we are going to ask for Yoruba Nation or we are not going to ask, Nigeria is about to collapse. And the next video we're able to tell you that. Let's listen.
United States, Canada, and Mexico. Despite this, Venezuela does not have a strong economy. In fact, Venezuelans today are markedly worse than they were 20 years ago.
Did you hear that? Venezuela is worse than 20 years ago. The same way that you are looking up to Nigeria, Nigeria is so worse. What the worst to do exactly what you are thinking. As many of you, Lojojuma, you are waking up. You don't understand that it's just a name. Forget about, I'm going to be talking about ECOWAS and Bola Tinubu maybe during the Niger Voices later on in the evening. But as I said to you, this country called Nigeria, Nigeria, it has eventually collapsed, but because everybody wakes up in that same country. But the pressure cooker, country. So what is just waiting for is what Showore is telling you, that one day everybody will just wake up. That is what Showore is explaining to you. But what we are saying to our people is that let's continue to tell our Yoruba politician to come back home so that we can deal with the economy within Yoruba context, not within Nigeria. Because if you are, forget about every expert that Bola Tinubu is going to bring to his government. It does not matter how good they are around the world, how good they are in Nigeria. Nigeria is going to be, if not, in that same position like Venezuela. Let's listen again. So Venezuela are worse. Tobawa in Venezuela is as worse as 20 years ago. The same thing is Nigeria. Nigerians are worse than 30 years ago. Let's go through.
Why is Venezuela so poor if it has access to so much money generated?
Why is Nigeria so poor when you say you have access to crude oil? Remember I told you that if we come back to this is what is giving Nigeria money. Crude oil. This red heat is exactly the only thing that is giving us. And the next thing is the, petroleum gas. But when you look at the value, $41 billion. I don't know how much that is in Naira, but by the time you bring it back to Naira, owó tó wọlé ní 2021 is 41 billion. The question is, that 41 billion is not even going up again, only decreasing it because of the pipeline, all the fraud that the NNPC have done in the crude oil sector. They've literally kept that like that because all air reach and look on. I think I saw yesterday, I don't know whether Tompolo or no arrest the vessel. A vessel was arrested yesterday. This kind of oppression has gone for a very long time. So today, many Nigerians will suffer because your country that you are still excited, this new Nigeria is not going to happen. Let's finish hearing from Venezuela. Venezuela is also a oil-rich country. Nigeria is the blackest, the most populous black nation. You see all those rhetorics. It doesn't matter. Government is not going to give you money in your bank account. If you even have money in your bank account, every single day, that money devalues. So I give you an example. If you have 1 million naira in your account today, tissue paper. You see this kitchen roll, right? This kitchen roll, it smells very well, because ito dalamara, because amafinwenu and all that. So we want to make sure that it's a good quality. They also have a low quality. Those low quality, by the time you squeeze it a little bit, could hold anything. So now let's come back again to Venezuela.
Getting oil.
Okay, so
Hello and welcome to Geography by Jeff. Venezuela is a fascinating place. While the country began its life as a colony, it would eventually...
Did you hear that? Nigeria is a fascinating place. That is the lie we have been told for a very long time. Oh, Nigeria is beautiful. We love Nigeria. Every Nigerians outside the country, they want to travel back home because of the weather, the food, and everything. But those ones have what they call a different currency. Look, if I have 1,000 pounds and I travel to Nigeria, I can easily spend 2 weeks, if not 10 days, if not 7 days, with my pounds or dollar or whatever currency you're bringing. So don't compare those that are outside Nigeria that are telling you Nigeria is a great place when they can easily come back home and exchange these for these, because this is going to give them much more money. Sorry, pounds ye. So when people are saying that, I was reading Daddy Freeze, he posted something on his timeline, and I was reading all the comments. Let me say this: I don't need to have money in this country before I am okay. I don't need a lot of money. I don't need a lot of money. The only reason why we need money is because we need to run our operation, the gas bill, the electricity, because those things are services that have been provided for us in the first place. And you don't expect it to be free. Nothing is free in the world. Even you yourself, you are not free. So the fact that is putting a different argument that I want to allow broad, a lot of us are depressed, we are stressed, and people are told, you can't compare that. Look, 130 million of you, that number keeps growing. If you cannot afford in your life every blessed day to have 1,500 naira to mafi jeun, you are also included in the abject poverty. I am not talking about go to the 3 days, go marry 1,005. You must be able every day for 1 year. That is what the United Nations is saying. The United Nations says that everyone in Nigeria should be able to spend $2, but you don't have the $2 because you are now part of the bracket of the abject poverty. So when this, fascinating, hey, Nigeria is a fascinating place because the video is playing music, Tiwa Savage, hey, all this entertainment, Big Brother Nigeria, football, all those things is to disguise you because the whole entity collapse. Let's again listen to this young man.
Go on to become the first independent nation in South America. However, the discovery of vast amounts of oil has seen it devolve into an authoritarian petrostate in recent decades, which has ended in the country becoming incredibly poor today. And
the question is, how can a country that has vast amount of crude oil become a country now that is already becoming the worst? It's the same thing like Nigeria. Nigeria find their own crude oil. The crude oil was meant to enrich every Nigerian, but it goes around the opposite. I saw Saraki with his children watching Wimbledon. I think yesterday, he was also posting the picture. Some of you will go and like it. Some of you will even write comment underneath. And you're expecting to have the same. We're not even saying that everybody should come and watch Wimbledon. But can you go and watch a basic movie in the stadium or in the cinema? Or can you have 3 square meal? You need $2 or equivalent to 1,500 naira. Classify yourself as somebody inside the abject poverty. I'm going to pull out from this quickly because of my time constraint this morning. I want to come now to this country called Nigeria. 10 countries have been named. I'll fast forward it. I'll share the link later. 10 countries have been mentioned in this 16 minutes, 31 seconds video. Nigeria was the last to be mentioned. I was praying. You know, Nigerians, you live in denial. Everything you are praying that, Kolon ma jẹ́ kí kó jẹ́ pé àwa náà máa wà nínú ẹ̀. Kolon jẹ́ kí Nigeria kó dá. Kolon jẹ́ kí Nigeria kó okay. A new Nigeria. You know all these rhetorics. Àwọn àfáà yín, àwọn wòlíì yín. You know, when you are praying, pray, God, give us a good leader to lead this country. Like all these 419 pastor, all these 419 imam, all these 419 traditionalists that keep telling you, because they are giving you a hope. They are literally giving you hope that is definitely not going to happen in your lifetime. So if you are part of those that is waiting for that hope ye, hey, hope, you know, hey, Ọlọ́run jọ̀ọ́, hey, bíá lọ́la, màá rí búrẹ́dì jẹ o, hey, bíá lọ́túnla, hey, bíá màá rí cereal mu o, hey, bíá màá fi ẹyin, màá boil ẹyin, hey, bóyá màá tún change búrẹ́dì tí mo fẹ́, bóyá màá rí broach bread, bóyá màá rí ọsàn rà, hey, bóyá màá rí this rà. You know that hope. Every day you are expecting hope. Hey, bóyá màá rí iṣu jẹ o, hey, Benue State, gbogbo yín ló ń pa lójoojúmọ́, hey, food basket of Nigeria. All these lies. Hey, bóyá màá rí gàrí jẹ o, hey, Ọlọ́run já lè ṣe cassava, ẹ lọ gbin ẹ̀gẹ́, ká fi ṣe. You know, all these hopes is false. Irọ́ ló bá dé. Bóyá màá rí tapioca. You see all this hope. Hey, bóyá tí bá sick, màá rí ògùn lò. You know, all these hopes. It's good to have hopes. But bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ní hope yẹn títí tẹ máa fi wọnú grave yín nìyẹn. Bí àwọn bàbá wa, àwọn ìyá wa, àwọn grandmothers wa, some of them enjoy because their children were able to provide for them. A lot of you will die anyway. You will die because this hope, going to online Bible church, pray, hey, and it's people like Fela Durotoye will then be giving you motivational talk. Just package yourself, dress very well with your CV that you don't have any company that wants to employ you. You are comparing yourself to somebody like that because Owuti push effort. So he's now using the same rhetorics that works outside Nigeria. But anybody's telling you, hey, motivational talk, this and that, it's all lies. But let's hear from this next video, and I will not interrupt the video. I will let it go through.
Implying more debt, which reached $74.03 billion in 2022, of which 46.455
and he's talking about Ecuador now.
To external debt.
You can
Number
see.
12, Nigeria. Nigeria spends nearly 30% of its revenue on paying interest on its debts. Although the country is a leader in international crude oil production, and oil is its main source of income, these benefits have not trickled down to Nigerian society, which remains deeply unequal. On the other hand, Nigeria's energy transition plan will eliminate fuel subsidies and increase energy costs for most Nigerians. The World Bank has pushed for these measures, even though experts have pointed out that the price hikes will increase poverty in the country. It has been noted that poor government management and the crisis-stricken economy with a mounting debt burden have exacerbated poverty, raising the cost of goods and services. Another serious issue is the theft of crude oil and the non-functioning of refineries. Nigerian governments have resorted to unnecessary borrowing, and the poor economic state has led to a massive migration of human capital, particularly professional workers, leaving the nation without valuable contributions. In this context, the outlook for 2023 appears challenging for this African country. Are you from any?
And you've just had the perspective. Don't worry, they're not going to show you this in Nigeria because, you know, they give you the false hopes. The hope that things will be fine. The hope that you will become push, just as Shure is saying here.
And that is why to say we are different. When people tell us, oh, Maybe you should have worked with some of these political parties. We are different from them. All the major political parties, as they call themselves, we are all going to remove subsidy. So if you voted for Atiku, subsidy would have been removed by now. If you voted for Peter Obi, subsidy would have been removed by now. If you voted for Atiku, they would have floated the naira by now. Maybe naira will even be 1,000. If you voted for Obi, they would have floated the naira for now because they are not interested in Nigerian people. They are interested in the foreigner. But when the country doesn't work, we are the ones that all of them call upon. If this country, if there's something wrong today, and there's nobody to fight, even Chokwe will go and say, what is Showore people doing now? If Chokwe gets illegally arrested, he will not call a lawyer first. He will call me first. I'm telling you. There was a comrade of ours who was arrested by police the other day.
Let's leave that for now and then come back to the reality. And the reality is that those expectations, those hopes, those narrative that Yoruba Nation should just go away and let Nigeria to breathe. No, Nigeria is not breathing. Nigeria is the Titanic that has already sunk. These hopes, it will disappoint you because the way Venezuela were all hoping, excited that their country will be great, that their population less than 30 million, they will live a better life, they will have opportunity. Those opportunities started fading away quickly. And Nigerians' opportunity is also gone forever. Your expectation with the new government, Bola Tinubu, that is going to transform Nigeria quickly. Maybe we should listen to this more a little bit.
Of my videos, there's a geographic reason for this. But first, if you're a fan of my videos, consider supporting me over on Substack. Paid subscribers get access to even more.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? Is the normal norm. Join me on my Substack and pay me. Because for him to put this together, whether it's a 10-minute, it will take time. Kamaiti was sent a video hours and hours. So when we say to people support, it's like something that some of you think, we shouldn't be saying. No, it's nothing wrong about it. It's just the normal norm. And you've heard it from him there. Support, subscribe, pay. And I hope some of you will start getting that message. Nitoripe, you have lived in the bush, in that your cocoon, and you do not understand. Nigeria is no longer bleeding. It is already sinking.
Geography every week, special callouts, ad-free podcasts, and these extra special perks. So if you want to support my work and get access to all of these extra bonuses, Substack is the place. I'll see you there.
This is an urgent message from the Red Cross.
No, I need the Red Cross. I want to donate to Red Cross.
Like with most countries today, Venezuela has its fair share of colonial history. But before we get to how the country was shaped by European powers, it's worth highlighting that Venezuela was home to many indigenous civilizations, including the Timodo-Cuica culture. This society was very complex and had pre-planned permanent villages, surrounded by irrigated terraced fields, and many other features that would be common in Europe at the time as well. But while Venezuela was home to an estimated 1 million indigenous peoples, the arrival of Europeans would upend their lives completely. Christopher Columbus first landed in what is now known as Venezuela during his third voyage to the New World in 1498. However, it wasn't until the early 1500s that Spain established their first permanent settlement in South America in the present-day city of Cumaná. This marked the beginning of the Spanish colonization, or Bolivar's vision led to the creation of a federation known as Gran Colombia, comprising present-day Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Panama. However, the federation was short-lived due to...
Just the same way that the United Kingdom, during that era, the same way thought squishy both other side of West Africa today, is the same thing that the Spanish were doing on the other side. These are explorers, and what they did was they took advantage. And anywhere, I think I've gone too fast. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Let's go back. Anywhere, language in, that is the end of that. I think is there. Let's listen from here.
Worth highlighting that Venezuela is home to many indigenous civilizations, including the
Did you hear that? Venezuela is home to so many indigenous people, just as Yoruba was an indigenous ethnic until the British decided that no, let's remove your indigenous. Any English, èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ni kẹ́ máa sọ. Wọ́n wá gba Saturday lọ́wọ́ wa, wọ́n dá wa padà sí Monday. I want struggle. I want rò pé nínú that cocoon tó ń pè Nigeria, we will survive it. Well, some will survive, but as many people will die before they are 60, according to the WHO. Nigerians will not survive to 60 years old because of so many reasons, which I have been talking about for the last 3 years.
Motoquica culture. This society was very complex and had pre-planned permanent villages, surrounded by irrigated terraced fields, and many other features that would be common in Europe at the time as well. But while Venezuela was home to an estimated 1 million indigenous peoples, the arrival of Europeans would upend their lives completely.
The abandon of the European, just like the English that came to Nigeria and took away our languages, what gba culture wa, what gba gbogbo tó jẹ́ nǹkan ní wa, and anywhere tó bá ti lè gbà yẹn kúrò lọ́wọ́ yín, they've completely finished you. You will struggle in your life to rise up. Wà wá máa fi àdúrà, wà máa fi dìde, wà máa fi Bible, wà máa fi dìde, wà máa fi Quran, wà máa fi dìde. Some of us have even abandoned the real culture, which is our own tradition, because we have looked at the tradition as a fetish. Ebony, gbọ́dọ̀ súnmọ́. But a lot of you are doing so many other things. By the time we calculate what you're doing, it's almost as ebononi. But because package it culture wadada, which was what they did in Venezuela, they removed their culture and their language. Let's go further.
Christopher Columbus first landed in what is now known as Venezuela during his third voyage to the New World in 1498. However, it wasn't until the
in 1498 ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà ti ń bẹ. But because by the time in 1500, ẹ rántí pé Bàbá Akíntóyè sọ fún wa pé by 1500, the Portuguese explorer that came to Yoruba land, Ijebu has been existing 500 years before that. But so many Yoruba people were interested anymore because there's nothing wrong in that. But let me say this clearly. It is not Christian and Muslim. We have more than 4,000 religions. There is a religion. It does not matter how much you read the back and the front of the Bible and the Quran, which is what we believe in Nigeria. But I want to believe in Hinduism, don't believe in this and that. You don't have any right against them. Your right should be your government to make sure that they provide the basic amenities, the basic things of life. Right, but nobody's fighting for that right. Are you weary? You are fighting for the right of religion. A religion that should not be the reason why we should be fighting. We should be asking questions. Bamishe has now been 500 days to work in Lagos State. Nobody, no religion is fighting for that. As a humanity, 500 days. Ike Keremadu only wanted to commit a crime with evidence and is now serving here in London. Ike Keremadu will not return to Nigeria even as Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be completing his 8 years. That is if, quote and unquote, he gets the next 4 years. Because these 4 years, in
1500s, as Spain established their first permanent settlement in South America in the present day.
The same way that the British established their settlements, what they do was, bomb everything. Anybody that doesn't want to go in accordance with them, they kill them. There was massacre upon massacre by the British in what is known as Nigeria. But now that the world is revolving, the world is becoming more connected. They are now saying we are just partners. Let me see how you can help us. Let's see how we can help you. And you see all our elites, when America is doing their whatever in their embassy, you will see them dressed with agbada. People like Okoya, you will see them with the wife. They will do lipstick. They will take picture. And you see them like that. So many of them, they will invite them from different regions just to make sure that they are inclusive. And you will see them, they will hold wine and they will be talking. You know, you will see the Dele Mamadou. You will see Adeleke. You all see them. It's because that is the new norm. Because they were forcing things on us. But now they know that the world is revolving. And they still need us. They need the resources in Nigeria. And those resources is important to them. And this is why we are saying that, yes, Nigeria. But Nigeria that you know is like Venezuela. Venezuela has collapsed. Venezuela has literally collapsed, but people are still living inside. So when people are saying, but Nigeria will collapse, but because you are living inside, but lower. And those of you that have money, you are running away from each other. Because, èèyàn mélòó ni e-money fẹ́ máa fún lówó lójoojúmọ́, èèyàn mélòó ni Obi Kubana fẹ́ máa fún lówó lójoojúmọ́, èèyàn ló mẹ́ ni this and that. Ẹ bá dá owó lójoojúmọ́ lórí social media fáwọn èèyàn ní Nàìjíríà, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín máa ṣì kú náà ni. Because owó tẹ̀ ń dá is just nothing less than tiny pin of salt for the massive over 200 million Nigerians tó wà nínú ilé. So, Tambani, hey, Koiki Shotiri program here, hey, èrò lọ síbẹ̀ tó lọ ń wò, kíní kan àwọn diaspora, wọ́n kàn pump owó síbẹ̀ ni. It's good, it's humanity. But all that cannot solve the problem. It is just, kódà kò tó grain iyọ̀ kékeré, intention yẹn. Ó better kí gbogbo akájọ máa pariwo the same thing, but irọ́, torí pé àwọn kan wà comfortable, you can easily send 50 pounds. Wàá ti calculate pé okay, owó iṣẹ́ ìjọ kan ni, màá tún lọ fàṣẹ mi, màá tún raise owó yẹn. Ẹlòmíì àtúndé, àtúndé òun ní problem. Àwa ti wá sọ yẹn di iṣẹ́. All these will not solve our problem. Instead kí àwa Yorùbá kí gbogbo aká máa pariwo pé ibi kan tẹ́ a fẹ́ yìí la fẹ́. Mo ráwọn kan tó ń jubilate. Wọ́n ní, hey, Tinubu ti di ECOWAS chairman, Nigeria is back. Ó dà pé àbúrò Fáyọ̀ṣe ni. I was just laughing. You are all going to sink anyway, because bí Titanic if sink, àwọn olówó tó wà lórí top deck, kódà nígbà tí boat yẹn lọ báyìí, wọ́n sì ń fi pé bí a part of the boat construction ni, until they realized that death was close to them. Àwọn tó tún fẹ́ gbìyànjú pé ká lọ ṣe submersible, ká lọ wo ohun tó wà lábẹ́ Titanic, tó san over $250,000. 5 of them, everybody knows the end of it.
A city of Cumana. This marked the beginning of the Spanish colonization of the region, with the Spanish crown seeking to expand its empire and secure its claims to the New World against other European powers. And as Spain expanded throughout the continent, they would impose their institutions, culture, and religion on the native populations.
Did you hear that? This is exactly what the British did. Remove your institution. We have our own mechanized institution. Baba Akintoye told us that. There's evidence to that. I don't know which is the we have our own institution. Because I gbọ́ part of into link more culture wa tó yìnbó gbà lọ́wọ́ wa.
Because kì í ṣe èèyàn kan àbí méjì ní Olódùmarè fún ọjọ́ tó fún wa, gbogbo ẹ̀yà Yorùbá ló fún as an end. So gbàgbé ọmọ mi á sùn ọmọ tí ò tiẹ̀ mọ nǹkan kan á sùn Olódùmarè á wá fi hàn á di tiẹ̀ tó bá jí láàárọ̀ tó bá ṣe àgbà á jẹ. That's our heritage before God. So heritage yẹn continue. Agbára yẹn continue. Nígbà tá a bá ní country wa ayé á wonder wípé bó làwọn ará bíi ti wà. And all these modern times àgbúrò wọn tó jáwọn ló dẹ̀ wá ń lead lọ́tún lọ́sì báyìí. It will happen. It will happen. Ọmọ mi títí Abáyádé kò ó kó àwọn kìnìkan tí mo kọ ó kójọ ó wá dàbí ìwé.
Let's leave Baba for now. Monka headline, listen, because because I'm going to join to Star Radio this morning. Naira devaluation. I think I can bring that up on the screen here. It's on the Punch newspaper this morning. You can see Naira devaluation. Nigerian students face tough times in the United Kingdom as tuition soared by 60%. So, anytime one Nigeria, you are like Venezuelans that are still in denial. When they see Nigeria, a lot of you are only seeing the box, but inside that box, it is already corrupt. It is dead. It is gone. Let's come back. I do not own the copyright to the video that we are using, but as you heard from this guy, I'm going to rewind it just about a few more seconds back. You will hear that the next line was, when the Spanish came, what enforce their own institution, they enforce their own religion, and they also enforce their own culture. In your alone dress, no, because we want to dress like the Western world, the Western lifestyle, and we have forgotten about the way Tia dress. The Western, it is only when I got to UK I realized that reason doesn't for us happen. It's nothing more than that. It's only summertime that you see people wearing sleeveless and all that. Toba the winter time, toba ra won to towo ba po ko nsako, òtútù ló múyàn lọ́wọ́ ló ṣe ń fi ọwọ́ sápò kí ọwọ́ yẹn lè warm, kí ẹ̀jẹ̀ yẹn sì lè máa transfer látòkè lọ sísàlẹ̀ kó ló ẹ má bàa kú.
And as Spain expanded throughout the continent, they would impose their institutions, culture, and religion on the native populations. This would include an economic system known as the encomienda, whereby the crown granted settlers a number of indigenous people from...
You see what they're doing? They hold people and they cut their head off. That is what they were doing. And that went on for a very long time. We just have about 12 more minutes. I'm going to be ending this broadcast at exactly 12 minutes from now. So when we are now saying to Nigerians that this, your country that you love so much, is already a country that is not going to work. Some of you...
from whom they could demand labor or tribute. As the colony of Venezuela expanded over the centuries, Spain would continue to establish new cities and territories. Initially, the region's economy was based on pearl fishing, but later it expanded to include agriculture, livestock, and mining. But as Spain continued to exploit its Venezuelan colony, its people would start to think about what life might look like as an independent country. The first rumblings of independence within Venezuela began in the late 1700s, influenced by Enlightenment ideas of freedom, equality, and self-governance.
We're going to leave that, and then we play our almost final video, and that is from our own, the Oracle himself, which we love, we appreciate.
On Middle Belt Forum and other such, and so on. But we showed them that we could. And we started what we call the movement of Yoruba cultural nationalism, which was the only thing on the African continent challenging the arrogance of the white people, and so on. But unfortunately, we didn't carry that far enough. We could have. And if we had done that, we had the influence to prevent what later happened, our becoming a British colony, and our becoming part of a large country. We could have. We are a large nation on our own. We don't need to be part of any country.
You're referring to the Yorubas?
Yeah, the Yorubas, yes. We made mistakes. We had the military power, very big military power to resist any incursions of colonialism into our territory. We commanded a lot of influence in our educated people who could have influenced the European governments back in Europe. We commanded a lot of influence in our missionaries. One of them was the highest church official in the whole of West Africa. We had our clergy had a lot of influence, and then we had great traders in the interior, especially in Lagos and in Ajashe, Porto Novo. Some of these merchants already had shipping lines of their own, and we had these powerful newspapers, though, that were the pillars of this movement of Yoruba cultural nationalism. We had all of that, and we yet let our land become British colony, or partly British colony, partly French.
Did you hear what Baba is saying? It's because they deceived our forefathers. They gave them something else. Work by Saturday, Monday. And today, the same Awonibo, they are still not coming back in a repackage, in a PA, in the IMF, World Bank. How can France be telling us how to run our own country? How can Britain be dictating how we do our own thing? It's because we allow them to. And Tabaden so far let's fall back. We have done mistakes. The same repetitive mistake. Hey, shut up. Come back to Nigeria. Let's do it from Nigeria. No. Baba Awolowo negotiated from here. I don't have to be in Nigeria before I make the effort that I am doing right now. Coming to Nigeria is because some of you are ready to attack and kill us. That is the reason why you're saying, come to Nigeria. I was in Nigeria. There's nothing for you to be telling me to come to Nigeria. But let's just see a little bit more, because we are now 8 minutes to the end of the program.
Colony, partly German colony. It's puzzling.
It's puzzling.
How we could command such enormous power in our hands, and yet let ourselves become the colony of any other country in the world. And we had the military power too. I have estimated that by 1992, when the first attempt was made to conquer the Ijebu kingdom, there were in different kingdoms and authority in the hands of different authorities in Yoruba land, over 500,000 very highly seasoned soldiers.
Did you hear that?
Commanded by very powerful.
We had over 500,000 soldiers during that time. But today, we have lost all that because we gave the opportunity for infiltration by the European. And that is why we are saying that if we do not come out of Nigeria, look, this is 50 pounds. This is 1,000 naira. That means that this is 50,000 naira. I know that is a little bit more now, because this is about 1,030 naira as of today. But let's just assume that it's 1,000 to 1 pound. So if I have 50 pounds, I automatically get 50,000 naira in Nigeria. But what about the Nigerian students that we saw right now? They will have to bring their money from Nigeria because they don't have a job yet. I'm talking about those that are studying outside Nigeria. And that is why this is saying that there is tough time. Nigerian student faces tough times in the United Kingdom as the tuition fee is rising. And that is the Nigerian High Commission, I can tell definitely. Let's listen a little bit. Many Nigerians are facing tough times in the United Kingdom after this Olori Buruku money that you say you have money. This money that is becoming like a tissue paper. After the Naira equivalent of their tuition fee increased by over 60% following the recent move by the Central Bank of Nigeria to unify the nation's foreign exchange rate. About 2 weeks after President Bola Tinubu promised to unify the nation's multiple exchange rate, the Apex Bank decided to float the Naira at the investors and exporters. So in a layman, Even those that were shouting in Milocom, whether from London, from around the world, they are also going to suffer the consequence of Nigeria. Even me, I will suffer it because I have family at home. And this is why we are saying that this is a Yoruba Nation movement. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè stop it. Kò dẹ̀ sẹ́ni tó lè dá dúró. It is our right, and that right will be respected by Bola Tinubu and his government, just as he also said some years back in London that he does not believe in Nigeria. So if anybody is saying that the movement should stop because of Bola Tinubu or because we are waiting for him to decide for us, no, we will continue to agitate. We are not secessionists, as the crazy Yoruba brown envelope journalists. Everybody to bá ti pè wá ní secessionists, they are part of the crazy Olori Buruku bomb bastard that do not know the difference between self-determination and secessionists. We are not coup plotters. Our right will be respected. You don't have to aspirate it. You don't have to love it. It is just the right that was given to us. And that right, we will exhaust it. We will use it. We will push for it. We will do whatever we can do in accordance with the laws of the land, especially in the knowing that the 1999 Constitution is not a constitution that Bola Tinubu can use to fix Nigeria. All they've told you is lies upon lies. The Constitution is a military diktat. Everybody knows that, but you are all crazy people because you believe. All your professor, I saw Babalola celebrating 60 years. All these men should be ashamed.
For just 67.
They should be ashamed of themselves because the same Constitution, the same Constitution, case, knowing fully well that the Constitution of Nigeria was not with the people, with the people. It's all lie, but it's celebrating 60 years, and you see the momentum crowd of people. Hey, Afe Babalola is celebrating 60 years. Go to his hometown. You will cry for the people in his hometown, even though he donated 10 million pounds. It's not my business, but my business is that these are old, ragged men that have used their position to enrich themselves, and within their caucus, they refuse to speak out. If you're waiting for people like Afe Babalola and Femi Fani, Falano and Robert Clark, maybe you should listen to this last video under 1 minute before we go. At least Baba Waite Sotito. This was when Nigeria was celebrating 58 years. Nigeria will not remain Nigeria in the next 58 years. I can bet my life on that. Call on Google. I will probably be my old age, but we will have been in a better position as we are right now.
Complacent, and they will not stand up to immoral conduct. Then we justify that particular conduct. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And quite sincerely, the judges too, they have part of the blame, but they don't have all the blame. The problem, I think, like the patriots pointed out a long time ago, is that Constitution, Decree 24 of 1999, is a diktat. It's a military diktat. It tells a lie against itself. What you are brandishing as the Constitution of Nigeria is an illegitimate instrument. There's nowhere where we all agreed that that would be
even though it begins with we the people.
No, that's the lie that I'm talking about, and I'm not the original. The patriots have said it. Okay, and Ben Wabose continues to say it. I attend meetings on the black table where Ben Wabose presides, and he will tell you that Constitution is a fraud, that we have to jettison it and do an autochthonous Constitution for ourselves. So please let us recognize the limitations of the 1999 so-called Constitution. We need a Constitution which reflects the spirit of the age. Can
Bola Tinubu give you the Constitution that will bring you the spirit of 2023, the spirit of the age, where there will be less marginalization between all the ethnic groups in Nigeria? I wish you the best of luck. But one thing is, Yoruba Nation continue. Yoruba Nation is for life. No retreat, no surrender. we stand with our father, the emeritus, the oracle, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the one that will lead us into the Yoruba Nation, regardless of your take, your views. And as I said at the early hours of this morning, kò tí sẹ́ni kankan tó jáde before 2019 told us categorically that ká lọ máa pariwo Yoruba Nation until Baba Akintoye told us that, and everybody, regardless of your take, regardless of your organization, whether it is big, whether it is small, template Baba tí ó fi jáde pé a lọ máa pariwo Yoruba Nation. Òun ni gbogbo yín náà ń lò. It does not matter which organization, without mentioning your names. Nítorí pé ẹ jáde prior to fall Baba Akintoye láti sọ fún wa pé ká lọ máa polongo Yoruba Nation. The man came out and told everybody that needs to know that this will the country. It will sink every one of us if we do not get out. My name is Olami Koiki, and today is again the 12th of July, 2023. Join me later on for more broadcasts. And as we say, no retreat, no surrender. Good morning and have a very good afternoon. Láti bẹ̀rù ẹ̀yin ọmọ Odùduwà lọ sí ipò ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ìgbàdúrà